Now at 5 around the state and here in Indianapolis. New and different phases of reopening are just hours away. What this means for you.
I just don't know how some of us are going to make it.
Still, thousands of Hoosiers are waiting for unemployment benefits. What they're doing now to try to get answers.
New options for you to get tested for coronavirus. More than a dozen new sites opening tomorrow in central Indiana.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
At midnight tonight, Indiana enters stage 3 of its reopening plan, putting more Hoosiers back to work. Thanks for joining us here at 5 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins, practicing social distancing from my home.
And I'm Amanda Starrentino in the WRTV studio. This comes as new unemployment numbers released today shows that roughly 39 million Americans have sought unemployment benefits during this pandemic. More than 2.4 million people applied for U.S. unemployment benefits in the last week. Another 2.2 million people sought aid under a new federal program for self-employed, contractor, and gig workers who are eligible for jobless aid for the first time.
The Department of Labor says more than 30,000 people in Indiana filed unemployment claims last week. That's about 12 times higher than the number of claims the state typically saw before the pandemic. That means in the 9 weeks since companies began slashing jobs because of the pandemic, almost 680,000 Hoosiers have applied for benefits. Thousands of people in our state are still waiting on their unemployment benefits. It's an issue that we've been following for weeks. RTV6's Megan Sanctorum spoke with some people still waiting on those funds to see what could be behind the delay and how they're getting by in the meantime.
It's been a long and uncertain process for some Hoosiers in our area who have been waiting more than a month for their unemployment benefits to kick in.
We just been living off of the savings and pinching, pennies, and it's been crazy. It's been real hard, and I'm sure a lot of people are going through that too.
Robert Downham tells us he worked as a driver for Enterprise. He filed for unemployment in early April, and he's still waiting. He's not alone either. Rebecca Robinson is an artist. She applied for benefits through the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program for gig and contract workers. Both describe very similar experiences when trying to get answers from the Department of Workforce Development.
Calling has been really, really hard. You're on hold for 2 or 3 hours. They transfer you. Next thing, the most frustrating thing is when the call disconnects and you have to start all over. If you do get someone, they don't seem very, knowledgeable of, of how to answer a specific question.
A whole lot of holding on the phone. The few times we've gotten a hold of somebody, they've basically just told us, well, we're overwhelmed. We will be getting in touch with you soon. Really, a whole lot of just hurry up and wait.
Some say they're not sure how much longer they can go without these benefits or getting back to work.
I just don't know how some of us are going to make it.
A spokesperson for the Department of Workforce Development says more than 80% of claims are paid within the normal 21-day waiting period. He says others are either not eligible or they have an issue that needs to be investigated. He tells us call wait times are decreasing, and they're providing employees at the call centers with more access to the uplink system to help people with specific questions. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
Now, if you're experiencing unemployment, we have resources for you on our website, theindychannel.com. We also have a list of places hiring for those of you looking for a job.
And tomorrow, more Hoosiers will be back at work as Marion County allows restaurants to begin outdoor dining only. One of the places likely to be busy, Mass Ave. Barricades are going up to allow restaurants to put more tables on the sidewalks. Mass Ave will be closed to traffic from its intersection with College Avenue to New York and Delaware Streets. A business manager we spoke with is excited to finally see more people out and about.
This is going to make a really nice festive atmosphere to where people are going to want to walk around, and they're doing a great job at keeping it safe to keep us socially distant. So we're excited to see, some customers who maybe even haven't been to our store before.
There will also be street closures in Broad Ripple and downtown on Illinois, Georgia, and the south end of Monument Circle. You can find out exactly where the streets will be closed, as well as downtown parking options at our website, theindychannel.com. And tomorrow also marks a milestone in reopening most of the state. Every county but Marion, Lake, Cass, and Monroe, which have stricter controls, will be entering Stage 3. Here's what Stage 3 means. Social gatherings up to 100 people will be allowed. Restaurant dining room capacity will increase to 50%. Retail stores and malls can be open at 75% capacity, all with appropriate safety precautions. This also means gyms and fitness studios may also open tomorrow. Community pools and campgrounds may also open, and recreational sports leagues can begin practicing tomorrow, but no contact sports such as football and lacrosse. And reopening of YMCAs are also part of Phase 3. We learned their plan today. The YMCA of Greater Indianapolis will open its first 3 fitness centers on Sunday. Those are the facilities in Fishers, Avon, and Lebanon. There are a couple of changes from the original Stage 3 plan that the governor announced on May 1st. Movie theaters and playgrounds had been projected to open but will remain closed. Movie theaters are projected to open along with other entertainment facilities and venues during Stage 4. Playgrounds are to be determined. Stage 3, as it applies to the majority of the state, is tentatively scheduled to last until June 13th.
Governor Holcomb did not have a coronavirus briefing today. The next one is tomorrow, but here are today's important numbers for you. 48 more Hoosiers have died from coronavirus, bringing the statewide total to more than 1,700. The new reports are in patients who died between May 2nd and yesterday. You can see the numbers from the past 6 days on this chart, definitely up and down here. Today's number is 10 higher than yesterday, but lower than Tuesday. We are closing in on 30,000 positive cases of the virus after the addition of 676 more cases reported today. After a flattening Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, the numbers have gone up over the last 2 days, but more and more people are being tested. The reported number increased more than 7,300 from yesterday to today. The opportunities to get tested continue to grow. Tomorrow, CVS will open 21 new test sites around the state, 14 in the Indianapolis area. These will be at select CVS pharmacy drive-through locations. You'll go to the drive-through, stay in your car, and be given a test kit. You'll do your own nasal swab test. A pharmacy team member will watch to make sure it's done properly. Test results will be available in about 3 days and will also be shared with the state health department as well. You need to make an appointment in advance at cvs.com. You can begin doing that tomorrow. Insurance is accepted, but CVS says there will be no out-of-pocket expense for anyone. To find the locations, you can look for this story on our website at theindychannel.com. We also want to give you perspective on the global spread of this pandemic. The total number of cases around the world have now topped 5 million, with nearly 330,000 deaths. Nearly 94,000 of those deaths are in the United States, but more than 294,000 Americans have recovered from the virus.
The pandemic is causing a major concern for child advocacy centers. Over the last few months, they have seen the number of child abuse reports drop. During the pandemic, calls to the state's child abuse and neglect hotline are down more than 40% compared to April of 2019. And that is why Susie's Place, a child advocacy center, developed a partnership with 7 local schools to reach children at home through e-learning. The executive director says just because reports have dropped does not mean child abuse is not happening. Plainfield Community School Corporation is one of the districts they are working with to reach students.
The key people who make the reports, schools, community members, churches, daycare, are not seeing kids. So we started thinking within our corporation, what can we do to just get the message out that we are the eyes.
But we want those teachers to inquire about that, ask explicitly about, are you safe at home? Is there something that we need to talk about? Do you need help? And explore that with their students and let their students know, I as a teacher am a safe, trusted adult and I'm here to help you.
At Susie's Place, their cases declined from 139 cases in April of 2019 to only 36 cases in April of 2020. Plainfield schools are now out for the summer, but their feeding program resumes on June 1st. At that time, they will continue pushing safety messages to children and letting them know counselors are available all summer long. Kevin.
One thing we can say for sure about our weather pattern, cloudy, cool with occasional showers. We're getting used to it. I'm hiding something from you, but I can't really hide it from you. You just step outside and you can feel it. We're still not there. Temperatures not warming up yet. They will. We're at 61 now, which happens to be the warmest temperature of the day. Notice the southeast wind. Eventually, that will come around by the weekend to a south wind, and that will have a profound impact on our temperatures. Lots of clouds. Many of us in the metro area, southeast toward Greensburg, Columbus, Cincinnati, had a brief shower roll through. That's all gone for now. 64 in Terre Haute and in Muncie. Through the evening hours, temperatures will be steady. The warmer air sits to the southwest. It will make a return. We'll get into that in the main weather here. Some patchy fog possible tonight. I'll talk about what we'll have in common. 6 out of the next 7 days will have at least 2 things in common. That's coming up.
Okay, Kevin, thank you. The Rebound Indiana is connecting you to advice and resources you can use to cope with the impacts of the pandemic. And Dr. Virginia Kane, director of the Marion County Public Health Department, is one of 3 experts who will discuss mental health issues African-American women are facing during the pandemic in a virtual town hall tonight. Dr. Kane says accessing mental health help is a struggle for many.
We don't always have enough resources in terms of providers being available to take care of them. Piece of cake if you have excellent insurance where you can access that, but if you're on the lower socioeconomic bracket, it's sometimes or it's a difficulty and a challenge to get maybe mental health resources for children, teenagers, and even adults.
Tonight's town hall is hosted by the Links Incorporated. Dr. Kane plans to share resources, ways to recognize mental health issues in children and adults, plus tips anyone can use to relieve anxiety. You can find the discussion streaming at 6 p.m. on the WRTV Facebook page. Still ahead on RTV6, bike, run, or walk. It's up to you, but whatever you choose could make a big difference in the health of a friend, family member, or neighbor. And the governor gives the green light for pools to reopen in most places around the state. But is the water safe? An expert weighs in on virus safety concerns. Working for you.
In just a few weeks, the annual Tour de Cure for diabetes is taking place in Indiana. RTV6's Alyssa Donovan has details on why this year it's especially important for people to make the effort to participate.
It's easier than ever this year to get involved in Tour de Cure since it's all virtual. That means you get to pick your course and either bike, walk, or run all on your own. And professionals say if there's a time to get active, it's right now.
We call it the COVID-10. We got to prevent the COVID-10. So we got to keep people moving, get them out, get them walking. We got to get them out riding bikes and do those types of things to stay active, because if you quit moving, you quit living.
Dr. Troy Abbott says medical professionals are concerned with people coming out of the pandemic more unhealthy, more people becoming pre-diabetic or diabetic.
I would say yes. People need to be more problems with their elevated blood sugars because they're just not being active. They're being more reclusive, especially in our older population. They're afraid to get out and socialize and be out with other people because they're the ones at higher risk of this COVID.
Recently, one of his patients added more activity and a healthier diet to his life, and it made a major difference.
He bikes 4 miles a day with his daughter, and he says in the last month he has not had any potatoes or breads, and he's really cut that back. He's lost 26 pounds. His A1C went from 10.7 to 5.5 just because he started moving. And so you can have big success stories with that.
Signing up for the Tour de Cure is a way for you to set a goal and motivate yourself to get moving. For more information on Tour de Cure, which is happening on June 6th, visit our website, theindychannel.com. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Thanks, Alyssa. And tomorrow, Indiana enters stage 3 of reopening in nearly every county but Marion, Cass, and Lake and Monroe. And part of that plan includes allowing community pools to reopen. You may be wondering, can I get COVID-19 in a swimming pool? According to a professor in environmental engineering at Purdue, if recommended chlorine levels are maintained, the pool water is unlikely to spread the virus.
There are data that describe how other closely related viruses respond, and from that, we sort of surmise that this virus is likely to be inactivated pretty quickly.
However, he says even though properly maintained pool water presents a minimal risk, that does not eliminate the need to social distance. Wash hands and avoid touching surfaces. And if it's an indoor pool, poor air circulation could pose a risk. And not exactly pool weather just yet, Kevin, but we might be getting there by this weekend, right?
Yes, ma'am. And Amanda, would you do me a favor? Because I won't be sure what the water temperature is going to be. Will you jump in first, see how cold it is?
I'll happily jump into a pool this weekend, Kevin.
All right. You know what's funny is that the kids get in, they go, come on in, it's fine. But once you're numb, it's fine. But pool water will warm up because overnight lows and afternoon highs will be much, much warmer as we go into and through next week. What are the next 6 out of 7 days have in common? A little more humidity, daily chance for some thunderstorms and temperatures in the 80s. It'll be our longest string of warmth so far this spring. Rain chances minimal tomorrow. Saturday and Sunday during the heat of the day. Can't rule out these isolated thunderstorms bubbling up. The most numerous thunderstorms appear to be on Memorial Day, and temperatures will still be in the 80s. We're far from the 80s right now. 64 in Bloomington, 66 in Sullivan. Temperatures to the north and east of Indy also in the mid-60s. With all this cloud cover, temperatures don't change much. Whenever the sun comes out, I love how dogs can do this. Honey found the patch of sunshine on the carpet. She moved into position just to soak up the warmth. Thanks to Lolo for sending in Honey's picture. Temperatures through the evening in the low 60s if you're headed out for a walk. Temperatures during the day tomorrow make their move. Not a tremendous jump, but we'll take it. Anything that gets us into the 70s is a big step forward. It's momentum that we'll capitalize on for the weekend. We should begin to see more sunshine in the afternoon tomorrow. More in the way of clouds in the morning. Then we see the break in the afternoon with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. There are the temperatures. These are about average for this time of year as we move to the end of May. I'm going to hit this button and watch Friday 7 a.m., tomorrow morning 7 a.m. I just let this roll through the afternoon hours, through Friday night, through much of Saturday, and the arrows swing around. That south-southwest wind will open the door to the warmer temperatures and the more humidity that we have in the air, the better chance for some of these scattered thunderstorms. Temperatures will sit generally in the low to mid 80s through the weekend. As you look at the 7-day planner, next week temperatures continue to stay in the 80s. We'll continue with a daily chance for thunderstorms. But right now, if I pick 2 days, Memorial Day and Tuesday, the most likely days for more widespread thunderstorms. And then by the end of next week, the water temperatures at the pool will begin to feel a little better.
All right, thanks, Kev. Well, more of Indiana will be reopening tomorrow. Zoos are not part of Phase 3. You have to wait a little while longer until at least the middle of next month. In the meantime, the Indianapolis Zoo is working together to bring the zoo to you with regular videos on its Facebook page. Check this out. You know how kids like to get out and play and roughhouse, so does Kadar, the elephant. Problem is, he's the only bull elephant at the zoo, so he has no male counterparts to spar with. And that's where the 4,000-pound swivel log built just for him comes in.
The hardware at the top that attaches the log to the pole is designed in such a way that the log can go all the way around. So it goes around 360, but it also rolls too. So Kadar can push it, he can roll it, he can lift it up in the air and bring it all the way around. He can fling it, he can push it. Sometimes he just likes to come up and lean on it and just push it very gently. So it's really interesting to watch him with this swivel log because it really is almost like watching a bull elephant interact with another bull elephant. He really does show a lot of those same behaviors.
I need one of those for my dog. The zoo says Kadar likes to play with that log for hours at a time. He is 14 years old and weighs 7,700 pounds. Remember, that log weighs 4,000 pounds. You can watch this entire video and many others on the zoo's Facebook page. What have you been doing with all your extra time at home? If you're a baker, chances are you're in good company. The #1 recipe, not just in Indiana, but around the country.
Keller & Keller, right now.
RTV6 is working together with the United Way of Central Indiana during this crisis. We're teaming up for the COVID-19 Community Economic Relief Fund. The initiative supports organizations that serve people and families affected by the pandemic. So far, nearly $24 million has been raised and nearly $18 million awarded. You can donate to the fund by texting HELP 2020 to 91999.
Many of us have picked up new skills while staying at home or revived old ones like baking. So what are most people baking or at least searching the recipe for? It's banana bread. One company analyzed Google searches for all 50 states in the month of April to find the most popular recipes, and in every state, banana bread was #1. So what else have been people cooking while staying at home? The second most popular quarantine recipes are for meatloaf and chicken. In Indiana, it's chicken. If you have a favorite quarantine recipe, you can share it on our Facebook page. A local organization is trying to help Hoosiers rebound from the pandemic in many different ways. One mother talks about her experience, what she wants you to know. That's tonight at 6. We'll leave you with this live look from our Pagoda camera looking at downtown Indianapolis. Some gloomy skies, but warmer weather's on the way. We'll have your forecast and more news coming up on the news at 6.